Piers Morgan takes a fresh swipe at Harry and Meghan after their latest Commonwealth speech. He says, please shut up. He's begging them to shut up after their latest video speech about inequality in light of recent events. Let's hear what he has to say. Piers, 55, has come under intense scrutiny for his criticism of Harry and Meghan, and he's only gone and done it again, despite insisting he didn't want to talk about them. Yeah, he's kind of backpedaled recently. He's become much more favorable. I think he was put under pressure. After firing off about their hypocrisy of living a lavish lifestyle while speaking about equality, he couldn't hold back. And we need to go right to the horse's mouth. What exactly did he say? I've seen less disconcerting hostage videos. Okay, and a lot of people, there's a mainstream article that is comparing Harry's appearance on that video shoot, which you saw yesterday, to a hostage video. In many ways, he was definitely second fiddle to Meghan, and in many ways, he looked like a hostage. He was blanking out. He was only agreeing with her. He didn't say much. Okay, I've seen less disconcerting hostage videos. He began his rant, writing in his latest Daily Mail column dedicated solely to their latest speech. That's a weird way to say it. Quote, that was my thought this morning as I watched Prince Harry staring blankly into a camera and lecturing the world yet again on our need to face up to our privilege. Okay, no one is more privileged than Harry and Meghan. The television personality has made headlines for voicing his opinion on the couple, calling the Duchess a shameless piece of work and accusing her of splitting Harry from the royal family. She removed Harry from the royal family. It's on the line whether or not he's going to leave the royal family, which would be the single dumbest move in the history of the royal family. Except for Edward and Wallis Simpson, that would be the single dumbest move in the history. 6 months ago, they quit the royal family in Britain in a blaze of aggrieved self-righteous glory and announced big plans to be newly liberated global superstars, trading off their royal titles to make themselves enormously rich. We were informed that they had never been happier and were very excited about their new lives of freedom from control by evil, racist palace courtiers and even the more evil, racist UK media. Still bitter about the whole situation, Piers branded the action as a two-fingered snub to the Queen and British people. I really didn't want to write about Meghan and Harry today, he confessed. I've managed to avoid it for 4 months, and I know there are genuinely more important things to worry about. There's several issues with this video. One, Meghan and Harry they're doing this through the Commonwealth Trust, which is from the Queen, and they cannot be political. This is a direct violation of the purpose of the Commonwealth Trust. They're using their royal status, they're using the funding of the royals, and they're being blatantly political. I think the Queen might be very upset about this. I want to ask, is Harry a hostage in this video, or is he a love-smitten newlywed? He looks like a hostage to me. Was Harry physically present with Meghan? Okay, some are saying that they cut the video together. Does the public embrace Harry and Meghan's activism, or do they feel that they're hypocritical the same way they were hypocritical about crying about climate change and then flying private jets all over tarnation? Good day, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. Time for a spot of royalty. Is Harry a hostage, or is this spliced together? I mean, did they do some fancy camera tricks? If it was spliced together, why would Meghan be right dead center? Look how dead center she is. Look at Harry. He's just lost. He's not even Harry anymore. Was he physically present? Does the public embrace this? Other people are saying that Harry looks like he's on drugs, maybe prescription. And prescription drugs are just as bad as illegal drugs. A lot of people are addicted to prescription drugs. I think those are quite bad, and I can read energy. I can see people's energy, and you get the same energy. You get a very similar energy signature with prescription drugs, especially the various drugs. You get a lot of the same energy signatures with prescription drugs as with illegal drugs. And that's my experience. And that's just what I observe with my spiritual eyes. So what is the Queen's reaction to their blatant political messaging and using the Commonwealth Trust? They didn't have to use the Commonwealth Trust to do this, but they are. They're using their royal status, they're using the funding, they're being blatantly political. I mean, this is like a thumb in the eye of the Queen. What is the Queen's reaction to them using the Commonwealth Trust for this video? Do it in another forum that's not Royals Forum. Oh dear. What's the 10 spades there? We have butterfly, very public, this direction, and exposed. They're exposing where they want to go. 2 spades, separated from the royal family. They're really kind of declaring, Harry and Meghan are declaring that they're just breaking away from the royal family, and everything that has come before is just wiped away. So they're being very clear. They're single-handedly modernizing the monarchy because of outside events. You know, this is current events. Meghan is jumping on the bandwagon. Harry's following along. You know, and that's another thing. Do people feel like Harry is a hypocrite because he's one of the most privileged people in the world, and Meghan is obviously one of the most privileged people in the world because she married Harry, and she, you know, all of her college was paid for. Anyway, earthquake, it's just a complete, the earthquake wipes away everything that was before. They're just wiping away all of Harry's work prior to this, everything related to the royal. They're just completely destroying everything that came before, and 2 spades breaking away. They're committed in their foundation to these causes from the heart, these virtue signaling causes, 6, 7, 2 clubs. So they're declaring their intention. So that's interesting. They're declaring their intention to completely depart from the royal family and any kind of royal protocol. I asked, what was the Queen thinking of it? She thinks that this is a complete departure from anything the royal family does. Okay, because it clearly is. 2 spades, and they're committed to doing things that have nothing to do with the royal family. And the royal family is apolitical for a reason. This is we're not seeing the traps and the problems now, but we will very soon when the disaster comes, and the Queen is worried about a disaster coming over this. So and they keep separating them further away. First they're kicked out of Kensington Palace, then they're kicked out, then they're sent to Frogmore, then they leave Frogmore, then they go to Canada, then they go to America. They just keep going further away. I'm not sure how much further away they can get. I don't think they will go further away because all along I said Meghan just wants to go back to California. She's not interested in Africa. She's not interested in Australia. She wants to go straight to Hollywood. So the other question is Harry a hostage, okay, or is he a love-smitten newlywed? Hostage or love-smitten newlywed? Let's see what's going on here. Because Piers said, gosh, Harry looks like a hostage. I feel very uncomfortable watching Harry. He looks like a hostage. So Harry and then Meghan. Harry. Meghan. Oh dear. Harry a hostage or a love-smitten newlywed? The fox is very clever. This is Harry over here. Crossroads. Decisions this way or that way. Very clever and full stop. Decision to completely stop what he was doing. 1426 because of outside events. He has just thrown himself into this movement and, you know, all the craziness going on. I mean, this is a revolution and could very dangerously lead to a civil war. Okay, America had a civil war before, and it was over a very similar issue. It was over over specifically slavery, but no one is enslaved in America. And currently, although I'm Slavic, which is the word slave, so let's see. So he's just decided to completely depart, to take another direction. And it's a clever move. The red-haired fox, Harry has red hair. It's a clever strategic move. Interesting. What do we have for Meghan? 2 spades, breaking off very selfishly from the relationships. 12, 14. Her foundation, she is setting herself in direct opposition to the royal family, very intentionally, for her own gain. Oh, interesting. Well, is that the question I asked? I asked, is Harry a hostage? Well, no, it's a clever strategic move. He feels like this is a good move. He is jumping on the bandwagon, which is odd because I saw him in England recently. I see them mostly apart and him in England, but I think he was probably here with Meghan. This has to be the real Harry. This has to be the real Meghan. Meghan is just setting herself in direct opposition to the royal family, directly. Her communication is creating problems. She's trying to do that. So 14, 4 diamonds. Her foundation, she's painting herself as a rebel in opposition to the royal family. Harry's going along with this. He feels that this is a good strategic plan. I think that's a terrible plan, and I would agree with Piers. Okay, woman, coffin, city. So 12 and 12, 6 spades again. Very selfish. And incubus, succubus. The incubus, succubus takes and takes and takes and gives nothing in return. So, and she's ending her previous, she's remaking herself. You know, just like the death card in tarot, they die and then they rise. It's more like the judgment card. The judgment card in tarot, they rise to a new life. All that was before is ended, and we have the earthquake here. So she's trying to remake herself. She is actively trying to remake herself, and she's doing it by choosing an enemy, and that enemy is the royal family. That's interesting. They should, you know, she's using their money to attack them. And that's a simple problem to solve. Cut off the money. But maybe that's not so simple. Was Harry physically present with Meghan, or is this fancy camera tricks? Because I feel like he was there, and I feel like she was just shouldering him out of the frame the entire time. And as the video progressed, he was further and further and further out of the frame until you could barely see almost his entire shoulder was cut off. In the beginning, he had both shoulders in. He just had a little piece of his shoulder out of the frame. And by the end, she had completely moved him out of the frame. Only one shoulder was showing. That's how far she'd pushed him out of the frame of her shot. So was Harry physically present with Meghan, or is this fancy camera tricks? Was he physically present? Is Harry physically present? We have a 2. We want to see a union. Yes, and 2 is heart. It's a heart, so very close. He was very closely with Meghan, actively closely with Meghan. He traveled a long way to be next. So he was in England, I think. He traveled a long way to be right next to Meghan for this opportunity. So 16, 4 spades. And they're keeping all of their goings on a secret. So the key is, underneath, the key is that he is outside. He's mostly outside of the relationship. And it's very complicated. 29, 8 hearts. The relationship has transformed. I don't know. Let's see. Is he playing? I wonder if he's just playing both sides. He's trying to be close to the royals, and then he's doing these things that should alienate the royals. So transformation, he's far away. Okay, he's cast out of the relationship. It's very difficult. A lot of underlying problems, and the key is that there's a lot of underlying problems in the relationship, and he's mostly far away. And things have really changed between them. Does the public really embrace Harry and Meghan's activism in this issue, or do they feel that it's kind of critical? Hypocritical, or do they feel that it's hypocritical? Are they embracing their activism? Okay, they're very political, very outspoken activism. Or do they feel that it's hypocritical, just like all the virtue signaling about climate change and then flying the private jets everywhere? Okay, do they love their activism, or do they feel it's hypocritical? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, 10 hearts is the overflow of emotion. They're connected with the overflow of emotion. And 5 hearts, 17, 5 hearts. Their reaction, 5 hearts, they're reacting. They love it. On the surface, they love that Harry and Meghan are throwing their hats in the ring on this issue and getting very involved. They love it. Deeply rooted, 10 diamonds. Okay, this is the card. 10 diamonds inheritance is the card of the royal family. 18 and 6, 24, 6 spades. The deeply rooted royal family transforming the royal family and their legacy. Oh, goodness. Yeah. But 6 spades, it's souring the legacy. It's souring the legacy of the royal family. It's in opposition to the legacy of the royal family. The royal family, except for some weird goings on that people talk about, stuff in Canada, etc., it has a beautiful, very long legacy, and especially, the Queen. She's been Queen for 70 years or so, and that's, wow. So much has happened in those 70 years, and Meghan and Harry, by doing these things, are destroying the legacy of the royal family and Britain. They're painting the history and the legacy of Britain and the royal family with a very ugly brush. And it's not true. It's not true. The history of Europe and England is very positive. And if you travel anywhere, and I've traveled all over the world, the best places to visit are those that are former British colonies. America, the richest country in the world. Australia, really fantastic. Canada, great. The United Kingdom, fantastic. These are all British colonies. The best places in the world are ex-British colonies. And the other places that are really fantastic are ex-French colonies. They're really nicely done. So the British and the French, they did a fantastic job. And you take that legacy away, you're going to have a very, very, very different world. And it's going to be really, it's just going to be a very different world, and probably a whole lot crappier. And all of the entire modern world was developed in the West, and largely by the United States, by the Western world. The entire world that exists today was developed in the Western world, period, and by no one else. And that's ignoring this horrible vitriol, is ignoring all that. So let's review. What is the Queen's reaction? She's afraid this could destroy everything, and Meghan and Harry are really standing in complete opposition to the royal family. She, I think, is really quite concerned. Total destruction is on her mind, and separation. So this is 8, 2 spades, and 10 spades. I think she may need to just completely cut these two off. That's what I see the Queen thinking. But she's not doing anything here. But she does see the ramifications of their actions. Harry and Meghan, hostage situation or love-smitten newlyweds? He's on board. Harry is on board. This is a clever decision to go in opposition to what he's done before, which he was the most popular royal. Obviously, this is not a great choice to go against what has worked for him his entire life. He's a completely different person. And the public really rejects this new virtue signaling Harry. They really reject this. And he's way past second fiddle. He's not second fiddle. He's not even third or fourth or fifth fiddle. He's way down the line. He's barely there. People are saying, is he on drugs? Is he a hostage? It's bad for Harry. This is not the right road for Harry. Maybe this is the right road for Meghan, but this is not the right road for Harry. This is not working for Harry. Meghan is setting herself in complete opposition to the royal family and poisoning the legacy, and she's just remaking herself. She just jumps on the bandwagon, remakes herself. She's converted to she converted to Judaism. Now she's converted to the Church of England, which I'm not sure what that is. Is that Lutheranism? I'm not sure. It's Church of England. I don't belong to the Church of England, so I'm not sure what that. But she'll completely remake herself whenever it's convenient, and she's remaking herself entirely before our eyes and turning into the enemy of the royal family in the West. And that's what she's doing here. Was Harry physically present? He was definitely physically present, but most of the time he is not with Meghan. Definitely physically present for this video. So this is not camera tricks. Okay, is the world loving their activism, or do they find it hypocritical? They absolutely love it. They love it. They love it. They love the shine of the royal family. They love it. Okay, so Harry and Meghan, because they're still royals, can do nothing wrong. And if the Queen takes that royal shine away, well, it's probably a different ball game. Take that money, take the shine of the royal family away, it's a different ball game. Okay, and she already did that with Sussex Royal, and they really crossed the line again, and they really stomped all over that line that they're not supposed to cross, which is political activism. What is I really wonder what the Queen is going to do. That's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination, Fortune Telling, Magi Method. Find the book worldwide on Amazon and Kindle and paperback version. Find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. Many thanks to the generous folks who bought me a cup of tea. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, and comment.